The studio this morning, we tell you today we take a look at the mining sector as we get the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Timothy Kabana, the program this morning. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salone.
Good morning, Khadija, and good morning, Miss Salone family.
All right, the minister there this morning, as we tell you now, for can talk about the mining sector and the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, as the name imply, keep under responsibility now for ensure say they manage the natural resources of the country. We among them one and day we get diamond, iron ore, gold, and other one them we the ministry directly they ensure say they manage for make all manner salon go able for benefits from the proceeds where they come out from the natural resources them. And according to the National Development Plan, then they expect say 20% of what's in the come out from the natural resources that we salon get through the Ministry of Mines for go towards the gross domestic product and the country, where they expect say 20% of for contribute to the GDP. Well, the minister there this morning for cancel we from where it take over office, waiting and waiting don't do so far for ensure say they improve on the mining sector. If people can remember, this is not the third minister where the president via administration don't get under the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources since 2018 where the president took over to now. And now inside July we been see the president been do some changes now in cabinet where we happen for no say the person we get this morning when Timothy Kabana come directly to the Ministry of Mines. We will get a switch a come out from other establishments who say if we done the work we get for do it oil again. But now we see it in the Ministry of Mines. And key among the things where the president been tell the time where he go take the oath of office in deputy na State House, the president been say they want for let them work together as team for sanitize the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources so that they go able for improve on revenue generation na the country. Well, from August to now the first time this will get Timothy Kabana the studio as Minister of Mines. Good morning again and welcome to the program. I just want to follow we start from there because we be done the host here initially, but we done the camera so as person from the Ministry of Mines. You come out from the Petroleum Directorate straight to the Ministry of Mines. Let me just get an idea first, the switch, where that switch they been happen, how it been appear to you. Taking into consideration your background now petroleum issues and now direct to mines.
Thank you very much, Mabel. I think for that switch, I want to say thanks to God Almighty. We make His Excellency the President in wisdom bring me up to the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources from the Petroleum Directorate at a very difficult time, both for global economy and the Sierra Leone economy, given especially for the mining sector, given the difficulty for capital investment during this COVID-19. And so when His Excellency the President called me to this taller duty, I've been feel really humbled and privileged for serving people them at this capacity. Bearing in mind that the mining industry is more established and it's been here for a very long time. And so it's more of a bigger portmanteau of responsibility. And I think there's not much difference, if you like, because both petroleum and solid minerals, they're all extractive and they all then get almost the same practices. And the economics, the finance, the environmental issues then are the same. So they are cross-cutting professions. I mean, I'm a geopetroleum engineer, so I think it's nothing strange. And it's a bigger responsibility and we require large effort for make sure we succeed in the sector.
So how you meet the Ministry of Mines?
It's no secret. Since Sierra Leone began mine, we don't see the difficulties where the sector can get in terms of, a lot of people say not benefit we as a country. And of course, the many interest them. Everybody is interested in mineral resources. So it means it's been a very ups and down sector largely, and the ministry as well. So, but coming to the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, they make me even understand more the very difficulties and way this country to go through with the mineral resources. So the challenges in there, but we come in for can fight these challenges and make sure we get the best for the people.
As my colleague rightly mentioned earlier, your appointment come at a time when the president they say we a deputy expects una team for sanitize the mining sector. Since you come in as Minister of Mines, what will be some of your strives them for revive the mining sector?
Well, first and foremost, His Excellency the President will make a promise to this country, say he will make sure, say the mining sector deliver on what the Constitution requires of the sector for provide opportunities for the people of this country and development as well. Coming to the sector, HE been on say for review the Mines and Minerals Act, because when you get a competitive legal framework, you go now they give perspective to investors, now the rule of the game in the sector, making sure that the investors then abide by the rules and regulations set, and also making sure that the people then benefit from the natural resources. So that legislative review is a very big thing for the sector, because they're capturing the dynamic interests of the investors and the development needs of the people of this country. And besides that, we know, say, the mining sector, prices, commodity prices were down even before COVID came in some of the minerals. And for instance, where COVID hit, the diamond industry, the prices went down, of course, during pandemic. As you know, diamond, now jewelries and all of those fantasies. So during pandemic, when there's a psychological trouble, demand definitely go down for them product, and so that affect the industry. But we're picking up. We're trying to create the necessary environment for able to bring in more investment into the mining sector, and also with the try for, if you like, help and work with the mining companies that are already in the country during this difficult time for they able to transition as the world come out from COVID. But most importantly, we just also don't open a very big mine. We've been on the work for nearly 3 years or so. When at the Tonkolili iron ore mine site, we don't open and we get a new investor where they right now they work for try to make sure say that mine come under full operation.
Talking about strives and steps taken by your ministry for ensure say wanna revive the mining sector, but this sector no go be revived without the mining companies themselves, and we don't see plenty mining company they don't go down at moments they know they operate. SL mining na key case in points. What's in the happen to the mining company there?
Well, there are many mining companies right now in Sierra Leone, right from the small scale mining companies to large scale mining companies. I just tell you, say we just don't give one of the country's biggest concession to a mining company where they're in operation right now. They're in preparation for full-blown operation. The SL mining issue, as you know, it's the government of Sierra Leone canceled the license of SL mining, and that particular place, the SL mining, gonna court. So we are in court right now, and so that's not going to be spoken about because of the adjudication where they go on. But that's not just a fraction of the entire mining sector. You get other areas of the sector where they do very well. For instance, the diamond industry right now, we get a lot of companies where they in development, where themselves will then come up pretty soon. The sector go get a bigger output. You get reforms where they go on, where they work with the other big companies like Sarah Rutile for increase on production and make sure say all in their own stream. So I mean, regardless the difficulties, we're making strides, and many other people in the show express interest right now, and they obtain license for small scale mining, where also they take care of largely go take care of the macroeconomics and also provide jobs for people then.
Well, they can go deep into that, but for let all the NTR be achievable, you go forget a legal framework where we're not able for work on that way. They make I take you back to USA you start. We get for do with the 2009 Mines and Minerals Act, where the president be done the talk about, even your predecessor, we be done host and I talk about for the need where they for let we review this act here so that people are able for benefits from the natural resources where the country gets under that legal framework. They now stage on a day and the process.
Well, it's a very advanced stage. Like you said, we want a competitive law, and so it takes time for building, a legislation for quite a critical sector like this. And so, but both all the sector players are right now don't work on the document, and the document there at a very advanced stage. we hope say probably by the end of December we don't take a significant step also ahead for kind of ratify that particular law there for making a day out for the governance of the sector.
All right, so from that stage, let we now know where you take over as minister at the Ministry of Mines in August. So now, waiting at the agreements, mining agreements, them where you meet at your desk.
Well, there are existing large-scale mining companies where they work. You get the Corridor Holdings Limited, you get the Maya Diamonds, you get the Sarah Diamonds in Tongo. Then you get, of course, you get King O into operation now, and all of those. So and we don't draft in quite a lot of small scale mining license then right now where the companies are doing small scale mining. So we still get the mining sector moving, albeit it's a very difficult time right now for the entire mining sector of the world.
All right, so from the thing where you meet at your desk, we just don't discuss about one big issue in the inside 2019 before we see your predecessor left the office, being get for do with the cancellation of mining agreements with people and where be meet, where according to they're not been feeling a good agreements where the country go able for benefits from at that stage for people and go able for benefits from the natural resources. Where you don't come as a new minister, waiting you think about that whole process of cancellation and waiting you to do for revive the sector back?
Well, I don't think say anybody that cancel anybody in license erratically or when there's no breach. Cancellation an option for terminate a contractual relationship or agreement with with anybody. So cancellations then can come into play if the other part of the agreement, one of the investor, don't subscribe or sign to certain work program or financial program. If them programs and they then fail for meet the programs or what is required of their operations, then it is the host country, in this case it is the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, in right for cancel and license and give to other investors that will work in those areas and develop the economy.
Okay, talking about license here, talking about large-scale mining license, I'm also to talk about really in active operations now, Salone.
Yes, we got about 6 large-scale mining companies. Also, yeah, you've got Corridor Holding, you've got Maya, you've got Sarah Diamonds, and you've got Shenli, Wongon, and you've got Ceramine. So we got a couple of large-scale mining companies right now.
What about the artisanal mining? What's in the status
of artisanal mining?
Yes, licenses.
Yes, licenses. Yeah. Well, right now we give small-scale artisanal mining license to companies. Then within the go right now and they operate. As I say, we are trying to quickly and professionally and professionally produce a regulatory framework under the Mines and Minerals Act, where therefore take care of the mining sector and make them more competitive very soon. And when that is out, we make sure say at all levels of the mining sector we provide proper regulation.
6 mining companies large scale in operations. As Minister of Mines, you think say that's enough for able to drive the revenue within the country wants?
It's not about the number of mining companies that are in operation. It is about the contribution of a mining company and the mining sector to the entire economy. So you can even have one company that produces enough for the GDP, for make the GDP go boy. So it's not about the number of companies, but definitely we need quite a lot of investment in the country for make sure that the economy runs smoothly.
What's in the contribution of these existing mining companies to the economy and the GDP as a whole, as you talk?
Of course, there's data where it will say it contributes about 1.6% right now to the GDP. This is because definitely other sectors. I mean, it just shows say the economy is diversifying, and more so right now. I mean, as you know, there was this talk that the mining sector don't come up from contributing to the GDP 24% to 1.6%. The 24% in 2013, where the GDP been there at that particular time, most of the other sectors were dead. So the the individual contribution of the mining sector to that economy was, a measure of the 24%, which should say there were very, very little contributions from other sources. Now, in 2019 to 2020, of course, COVID and other things to affect the mining sector, but then you have other sectors that have, they don't self-correspondingly, they don't grow, and so then they contribute hugely to the economy, and I make the proportion of the mining sector.
Somebody go say, smaller. Coming from 24% in 2017 to 1.6%, now drastic reduction.
That you have to understand and put it into context. Yes, 24% of a pot, and something, let's say, for instance, let's take a common example. You get a pot, you put 2 cups rice, then you put 1 hamburger. When you cook that particular food, it's all going to be rice. So it means in 2013, the largest contributor to the economy, when other sectors were not working, when the sources of revenue to that particular fund, treasury, they not being plenty, so the mining sector in contribution stood out. Well, here we are in 2019 or 2020, where sectors like the fisheries, agriculture, and other sectors, then they boom, then they contribute to the economy with difficulties in the mining sector. Whatever the mining sector contributes compared to the collective other huge revenues where they come up from the other diversified sectors of the economy, then the mining company will look like it's negligible. But it no means say there's a change in trend of the benefit that comes from the sector.
Continue for the between the program, Timothy Kaba, Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources.
The program is still listening to Good Morning Salone. We come to you from 98.1 FM. We will bring you this edition of the program. Musa Kamarana Minim.
And Mabel Kaba.
Inside the studio, we get the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Timothy Kaba. They are for talk about plans and for improve the mining sector. Mr. Kaba, we don't talk on the revenue from the mining sector. Looking at the National Development Plan, the mining sector expects for contributes 20% to the GDP. And earlier we talk about 1.6% now where it contributes. And Parliament recently, the Speaker asked the committee chair for mines and mineral resources for someone, Una, for go explain why Salone don't go to this level.
Well, definitely, I'm not getting any summon from Parliament for answer to that question. Not now. I not get the summon letter yet from Parliament, and I believe the chairman for the Mines Committee, they're in a better position for also understand the dynamics of the mining sector with relations, in relations to the economy. Like I say, in 2013, the 24% when the mining industry contributes to the economy was just about 440 billion leones. And take 2019, where now just 1.6% of the GDP, the revenue will come into the government, coffers. It's about 582 billion leones. So you see, that's a huge sum of money. If you convert them today at today's rate, it's almost bigger than, that of 2013. But 2013, that was a measure of 24%. In 2020 or 2019, the 1.6 they tell you other parts of the economy don't come up, and the economy is becoming more diversified. But also, don't forget, COVID all over the world don't get a toll on the mining sector, and Sierra Leone is not an exception. Commodity prices are down, and it's difficult for the mining companies then get in time the logistics that they need in terms of persons from other places and for can do mining operations. We also be to get locked down and other restrictions. So it's all this don't get a negative toll on the mining sector. But that is not the end of the story, because the mining sector, many of the mines are presently at development stage. We mean if we support them and create more incentives for them, and if the broad commodity prices then they appreciate, it means we will accelerate the development of the mines here and very soon we'll get a sector where they get a lot of production and contribute hugely to the national economy.
Apart from the development stage where you say some of them come near so they at this stage, and you put COVID aside because COVID are just a year where we don't deal with COVID, the mining sector, you might agree, not on the boom the way how we used for boom years ago, where like money be the flow from the mining sector. As a minister, the time when you've been there out to look into issues and where they happen around, waiting if you not say Salone don't get wrong, we make the mining sector not really don't they contribute as expected?
Well, first of all, there are many reasons why the mining sector or the extractive sector it can suffer. You therefore also understand, say, the prices of commodities, whether the products that we mine in your country, how them prices and then the mineral market and the world market, and so you're able to get more resources into your country for able to benefit your country. But also, the world is competing today for investment. Every country get what they offer to investors. So for you able to attract the right investors for your country, you have to create a competitive space, an environment where they provide support, an environment where they promote, human rights, an environment where they protect the environment, an environment where they, harness technology for able to increase on productivity. So, and those were most of the things that we've been lacking in this country because, the companies and they come in, then cost of operations get high. At the end of the day, when they begin to produce, they're not able to meet the profit margin and then they survive. So, but when you create a less bureaucratic environment for investment, and you create those enabling, conditions then with the law, the fiscal regime, and all of those, you see, say you get more investment, and your mining sector will develop, and it will benefit you people then.
So, in terms of the companies them where they in operation right now, how you go explain the contribution where they make towards the government revenue, taking into consideration the fact say iron ore price, for example, they're the highest level now inside. We look at the past 20 years where they made on the price and especially King Hu Mining Company where they now Tonkolili.
Well, yes, Kingo is right now in operation, and they do care maintenance on the equipment on the site, and for begin do the mining activity. And if you the Kingo's operation, the iron ore prices are really, really high right now, and it would say by the first quarter of next year, Kingo will don't mine and will be able to begin export iron ore from the country. But I will tell you that operation is well advanced. They are working relentlessly.
Because I just want to say this December 2020, them being promised, say, then go down kickstart.
Yes, all things being equal. And as I tell you, the operational aspect is going very, very, smoothly and quickly. And they hope say by the end of this year, but, they go into the first quarter of 2020, that particular mine go there into full production and shipment.
There also don't be talks around the issue of King Hu mining and also the one we get with Shandong where people believe say King Hu want for take over Shandong and the process now one way plenty people be done they get different explanation but the minister waiting at the process them where this company go through for letting you just stage within this so.
Well, say Shandong when they operate the Tonkolili iron ore mine and 2017, they'll not be able to operate further the mine and the company going to it in the call administration. Whether they declare say they not get the financial and technical capacity for run the mine. So in 2018, still they're not able. There was nothing going on in that particular concession. So 2019, Kingo applied for large-scale mining license for that particular concession day, and the ministry and the NMA been looked through the application and then find out say Kingo get what it take for operate, and July of 2019 they issue Kingo the mineral rights for operate now that particular Tonkolili iron ore concession. And that is Shandong in contract with the government of Sierra Leone be non-terminate, be don't end, be don't finish. And so finally this year, we myself come as Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources. We've been able to finalize the contractual relationship between the government of Sierra Leone and Shandong in a very amicable and legal way. And so the new mineral rights owner Kingo may therefore take over the site. But the most important achievement of this particular disengagement with Shandong and engagement with Kingo, the benefit we bring, the fact that for the first time in the history of this country, the government of Sierra Leone don't take possession of a very, very critical infrastructure in the mining sector, one of the Tonkolili rail and the Pepel port. This rail and port infrastructure now a game changer in the industry because it enable, it for help for boosting production and the economy. And for the fact that government right now gets possession over that rail and port, it means it for give government extra revenues from the mining sector, from this infrastructure, not only from also the royalties from the minerals.
So now, what think government they expect them young contribution for be in terms of revenue generation? What think people for expect?
Well, the forecast is positive, and like you said, the iron ore price right now in the global market is really, really high, well over $100 per dry metric tons. With the hope so with that mine they come into production in January, that's going to contribute huge to the economy.
For somebody where they listen to you now, go like for ask what in exactly the happen at the mining sector. We see mining company like Maya don't suspend the operation for about a year now. Also, Vimetco, they lay out some staffs them, and new investors they also they try for come into the mining sector. We very hard. What in happen exactly? Somebody go like for ask at the mining sector.
Well, as you know, not difficult. I mean, you may look at COVID as just a 1-year pandemic, but COVID gets a long time effect we forget on every sector, and more so the mining sector. Mayor, fortunately, and this is good news, Mayor was in administration, then not been the work because they may get some financial, otherwise, other constraints them because of the difficult time in the sector and the pandemic. But the good news is, Mayor don't secure some funding now in terms of capital for further on the investment. They don't communicate that with we, so that development they can go further, and that's also very good news. It's our responsibility as a ministry and as a sector for able to support and understand the difficulties of the sector as they affect the mining companies and the economy. When we understand the constraints, we can mutually find solution so that we all go through this difficult time until the good time then come. Then you also make mention of Vimetco. Fortunately, in other countries, most of the companies then go into temporal administration, laid off their staff, and stop production. But Vimetco themselves get constrained, them one go into administration, but working with the ministry, working with the NMA, they will understand, say, look, let us don't go into administration. Let we go small and work with government so that we'll be able to pass through this difficult time. And Vimetco is still in operation as I speak to you.
They say half education is dangerous. So, for just start with we and left we half per we project, nothing we self no good. One way how you go continue for support we, for let we grow to we highest peak, now for support we in all angle. Well, we don't create another channel where we call Sexy New Looks. This one, we do here for women. We show you how to make different African and European plates them, as well as different other things them. Well, if you really sure say you are one fan of we yard, do ya? I want you go now inside your YouTube app, and then you search for Sexy New Looks. Tap there, and then it will take you to the page. When you reach the page, you press the red subscribe button. When you press them, you come over to the bell and press the one with all. As you do that, it done. That don't really show say you the support we had for let we grow to the highest peak. Thank you for what you don't help we for make we channel them grow. Don't stop.
The program is still listening to now Good Morning Salone, where they come to you from 98.1 FM. We still get with studio guests inside the program. We are the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Timothy Kaba. They are the talk on plans them for improve the mining sector. Earlier when you start for talk, my colleague been they talk about the legal framework, and going down the line, they don't they talk about the challenges in the mining sector. But somebody go say the legal framework or document go they we in a policy form where you go able to transform the mining sector, and that's now the Minerals Act. What happened to this act where somebody go say it was expected to come out in 2019, but it did not complete it?
Yes, it's at its very advanced stage of completion. I remember for put a law together, it's a very long process and a consultative process. And I believe say the right things have been done and the people have been consulted. Conclusions and drawn from the voices of the peoples expressed. So. And the documents, they may therefore take the outcome of the consultations and go return to the law officers department. They don't put it into a draft bill. We don't look at the law as it is in its draft form. That is finished, and we therefore validate them with the people, the stakeholders, them, for make sure say their interest is captured, and then it will go through the necessary ratification processes.
Developing this policy or thinking of developing this policy, all the stage we be done, they talk about so being there in mind, say we get for do this consultation and frame say by 2019 we would do all the consultation and pull this law. Mm-hmm. But now with the 2020, you still say it in advanced stage. Why the delay?
Well, the delay, I mean, like it was not necessarily 2019. The process began in 2019. And like what I say, I mean, it's a long process. It's not just an event, you go and produce a law. Of course, say with this year, with the difficulties we'll get with even time and work and people here and there, it's been very difficult for get people for, do certain work them. But like I said, the work is well advanced. What is important is to produce a law that represents the interests of the people of this country and also protect the interests of the investors there. It's not about when the law is out, but let the law provide the right governance for the sector. I think that should be the stress point. How competitive the new law will be, that should be the question and concern where I believe the people will be interested in. The law has to be very much competitive because a lot has happened. We never expected or envisaged, say today, COVID go down hold the entire world and everything don't change. So the law therefore reflect the dynamics of the world waiting to happen. They therefore reflect the changes. They therefore get new ideas, cutting edge ideas for make sure say the mining sector produce the necessary support to the country in development.
And then cutting edge ideas here we talk about nuggets for limited from the Ministry of Mines alone, and need other people where they work on similar issues for come together in terms of consultation and make one able to get the law at the end of the day. How supportive the National Minerals Agency NMA don't be towards achieving that goal they forget a review of the 2009 Act?
Very much so. I mean, the NMA are the regulator of the mining sector and the technical arm of the mining sector. They play an integral role in that as well with the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. And we get other stakeholders now the community and the sector where they play also very significant role in the formulation of this act. You get civil society organizations, you get the Sierra Leone Chamber of Mines, where you get the drawing membership from all the CEOs of the major mining companies. You get other development partners then. They all support the process, the World Bank and everybody. So they forget it's a multi-stakeholder, multi-interest document. So therefore the support has been immense, working with all them partners therefore make sure say the act gets to where it is right now.
Talking about the supports and the organizations that we involve in this, making mention of the World Bank. It is believed that the World Bank consultants not happy with the project. How true is that?
Well, I don't think for making law, it's about an individual being happy or not happy. The World Bank is been very much supportive to the mining sector through the extractive industry, technical support program, assistant under the ITAP. Then the World Bank, like one of the stakeholders of the sector, gain your contribution in terms of technical support, and other stakeholders themselves give their own support. So it's not about whether someone is happy or they are not happy. It is to make sure that the law protects the interests of the people of this country and also provide the enabling environment for the mining companies and for able to operate in the country. And that law, like I said, if we're able to stand the test of time, if we'll be competitive, if we represent international best practice, that's not the essence of a legislative review and forget a legislation for governing sector.
Now, talking about the law, say somebody no need for happy or not, but if you get a consultant, in contribution into any development projects, how in views them don't go on board or in expertise don't be accepted in this review?
The process is quite open. I'm sorry, views are given. And when these views are given, and more importantly, you foresee say the consultation at national level, go to all the district headquarter town, then congregate people, them, the paramount chief and the people them, where the mining activities they affect, and say, "Una can give una views." These views, with international best practice and other recommendations made by other partners, them, now they don't put in the document when a draft. And we get for make sure, so when this draft come on back from the law officers department, we get for send them to them very people who don't get their own contribution, for make them validate, for make them make sure, say, them points they wouldn't give, they are competing points, they are important points relevant to the sector in development, them points and they are captured in the draft bill before you go for final ratification.
More investments at the mining sector. Now, one way plenty people believe at this stage, we need more people to come on board. We need new investors them and get more investments at this sector. But we see inside the past 4 months where you don't be minister, now this particular ministry, we don't see the cancellation of 20 exploration license them. Why?
Well, exploration, if I understand, saying the first step of the operational cycle of the mining sector, where companies in the can then take license for go look if they can mine at the area then. Exploration period in some areas can be long, in some areas then can be short. And if you look at the acreage where they can give, most of the companies, the Minister of Mines no go cancel license if there are no breaches. These breaches are the responsibility with the mining companies them, or the exploration companies then they subscribe to, or then they say then they perform, and failure for perform their responsibilities. The regulator get the right for cancel the license. If you take them from an economic point of view, you give a company a place where you get more geological information, where that company they go directly into mining. Then that company they go take that particular acreage where they sometimes in dimensions of about 250 kilometers square. Then the investor where they do exploration, they employ plenty people then they pay just $1 per square kilometer, where they come to up to $25,000 for instance for that particular exploration land. But if you give a mining company, whether it's a small scale or large scale mining company for work by that particular place, you find out say that same acreage of about 250 square kilometer, they can give up to it will give up to $20 million for that particular acreage. So companies will come and take we concession them in the name of exploration, sit down there for many years, not they do anything absolutely, not they meet them contractual obligations, not they give reports.
So now who's coming then so we go against the rules and they will make you cancel?
Well, there are many breaches, for one reason or the other within the council license, where you don't meet, for example, if you don't meet your financial obligations, as when I don't agree in your work plan, that can be a cause for cancellation, especially if they give you time for remedy the breaches. And if you don't, then they can cancel the license. And also you get operational, factors. If, they give report on your operations, and if, declare the number of locals that they employ, for instance, now your company, and all of those. If you don't give report,
So now,
on
what are they don't breach? So,
well, you just make mention, say we cancel license, and those licenses were absolutely in breach of one or two of the requirements that we then get for, for them particular license, and so the breaches were actually responded to with this cancelling.
They say half education is dangerous. So, for just start with we and left we half per we project, nothing we self no good. One way how you go continue for support we, for let we grow to we highest peak, now for support we in all angle. Well, we don't create another channel where we call Sexy New Looks. This one, we dey do here for woman, we dey show you how to make different African and European plates them, as well as different other things them. Well, if you really sure say you na one fan of we yard, do ya? I want you go now inside your YouTube app, and then you search for Sexy New Looks. Tap there, and then it will take you to the page. When you reach the page, you press the red subscribe button. When you press them, you come over to the bell and press the one with all. As you do that, it done. That don't really show say you the support we had for let we grow to the highest peak. Thank you for what you don't help we for make we channel them grow. Don't stop.
Good Morning Salone, we come to you from 98.1 FM.
Well, we still get the Minister of Mines at the studio this morning. They tell we waiting. They don't do so far for ensure say they improve on revenue generation from the mining sector. Back to you, Mr. Minister. Apart from the national basket where the mines and minerals sector they contribute to the country at large, one particular set of people we always don't be affected now the community people we over the years don't they cry foul say people they go mine and communities them, but at the end of the day they're not able to get back as community people something for show for say now within the areas them outside the natural resources here we make they ask now within the current status of the Diamond Area Community Development Fund.
Thank you very much, Mabel. The Diamond Area Community Development Fund, a fund where His Excellency, the late President Ahmed Tijan Kaba, been bring after the war, say make them able get part of the revenue where they come up from the diamond industry for go directly to the communities and where the activities and the impact for their own involvement in the community development. But the administration of this particular fund over the years don't be very much not so good because them funds are not translate into tangible development now most of the areas that would then give them funds here. And so when His Excellency the President Dr. Julius Maada Bio and government came in 2018, the Ministry of Mines and the NMA being decide say therefore try for enhance transparency and accountability for this particular fund here so that they will see tangible development in the communities where they mine diamond. And so but no action was taken yet because of the many other challenges for disburse this money to the communities So when I took over in September, there was need. His Excellency the President will say the people then forget the money and for make sure say the money then go to the right people for the right purposes for the community development. So what do? We because in the past for they made write checks then they give people directly and there was no monitoring and supervision for the funds and so that is the reason why we're not able to get anything for account for that. But now the new mechanism is we don't engage with the beneficiaries when are the chief and then chiefdoms and the local councils say we want to bring a new mechanism wherein we not pay this money to any individual, but we pay this money to certified community, for instance, chiefdom account, and also we pay the money to the local councils contingent on projects them or then they supply to the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources for review and for make sure say the money where they go, then use the money for them project, then they would then already identify. So after we engage them, we get them, project them, and make sure say the project that they want undertake in various communities them consistent with the local government development plan. So we don't meet them and we don't review the document then, and the distribution of the money get for start effective next week to the different chiefdoms and the local councils them, and the Ministry of Mines with the local Ministry of Local Government, the NMA, and the Parliamentary Committee for Mines and Mineral Resources. Therefore, constantly with civil society organizations, therefore they monitor them project here for make sure say the people are able to implement the project for the benefit of the communities within the mine diamond.
Now, talking about the community benefits from the mining sector, we say like the artisanal mining now more of community people key involved in them.
Right.
Looking at the review, we see it in advanced stage now. Which side community stand in terms of artisanal mining at this act?
Well, we don't listen to the views of the people, and the people don't tell we how they want for get them license and for operate. But we have to look at them from a professional point of view, the environmental implications and the general implication to the economy, and finding the best international best practices and arrangement for make sure say the communities self go own the program, then go participate in the mining sector in a more responsible and economic fashion. You understand? So that's we consider the need for revitalize and strengthen the regulation and the performance of the artisanal mining subsector.
But people worry say the new act they put artisanal mining them off trade.
No, artisanal mining is going to be modernized. Artisanal mining is going to be made more effective. And that is why I said the document we say so today will therefore take them back to the people them, for let the people them validate their interests consistent with best practice.
All right, we still continue to look at issues we get for do with the mining sector, but quickly let we take short commercial break and come back to the minister and continue with the issues then. Good Morning Salone, they continue, and we still get the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, where Timothy Kabai they take we through plans them where administration don't ensure say them put in place for revamp the mining sector back so that then will continue and for generate more revenue for government. Still on the issues, and I want to take you back to the issue of the license that with them being cancelled inside 2019, where we make some companies them will be victim, not being happy at that time for say then cancel and license them, where then be done the use for operates in the country. So that's to some people be mean say the mining investor them will be done they show interest. Like we don't scare away, say for nobody not go glad for run for come na country for can invest where they see then they cancel people and license them where them we don't they in operation. For talk if you talk now to people and we get interest for come na salon, how you go market with mining sector for ensure say more people and come for can invest in this particular sector under your administration?
Okay. First of all, cancellation not to for punish people. Now for disengage with partners when they perform. And so I don't think say cancellation for serve as a deterrent for any investor for coming. Because first and foremost, we establish the reason for which we cancel license. And then reasons them but where they only represent the interests of the people of the country. We cannot cancel license on our personal emotions or grudges. We do them consistent with the law, we therefore protect the interests of the people. So for the cancellations we happen in 2019, now cancellations and we consistent with the law, and the law protects the interests. So for investors that we want Canada country, there are many other factors we investors look at. They look at the political stability of the country. They look at the logistical challenges of the country in terms of with relations to their operation, and they look at the regulation, they look at the fiscal policy, the general support economy of the country. So when they put all them factors together before they make decision. So it's not only about cancellation. So waiting the responsibility of government, and this is why now we are trying to produce a very competitive, progressive and balanced law where we protect the investors, their interest, and within the frame of the law, and also go promote the investors and business in the country. So that is a very fundamental effort for make sure say the mining sector right and attract the right people, and also for able work with other stakeholders in the society. Okay. Make they also understand say we support very important for the mining sector will go before. Thanks to those who then send in text messages them. First of all, I respond to the monies distributed to chiefs and local councils. Where say this money come on? This money come off from the sales of diamonds of all companies where they get diamond license, where they produce that way they win diamond. When they sell, then they give 3% of the sale of the diamond to this particular fund. When at the Diamond Area Community Development Fund. So a portion of that, and we distribute right now to the chiefs and to the local councils them for make them, sort of run their own sort of community needed developments them in their areas. So this money in the past been on the camp, but will not get much for show because there was no monitoring because of the way the monies were distributed. And so now, His Excellency, the President, don't say that we enhance transparency and make sure say we see tangible, developments then with the mining sector. They give directly to the communities, owned by the communities as per the needs of the community. The way depend on the completion of the law will come into operation. And with the World Bank and the Act, like I said, the World Bank, at some a particular time then finance and support the program, and so their views are also captured like all other stakeholders then views that wouldn't give, and they make sure say all these views then consistent with international best practice and then promote and represent we serve as Sierra Leoneans we interest.
A text message being say the country need to go or abide by international arbitration rulings where the Hamburg investments or new investors for come the system.
That is preposterous to say. The country, a very huge personality. We will say the country, they abide by the rules of an arbitration. The country is a sovereign state. When there is an arbitration, the country they respect international, rules. And I believe say Salone they go against them rules then they. And I think those are just speculations. And I must say. The ministry and the NMA and the government, they make decisions where they first and foremost in the interest of the people of this country. Sometimes it is difficult and hard to understand, but when you put into perspective why government for do that, if you put into thorough perspective, you go come for appreciate, say, these actions are taken, but for the interest of the people of this country.
All right, Mr. Minister, we wrap up the program now, but who's take away the left with the people, especially so towards achieving the 20% where the National Development Plan, the project, say, revenue generation will come from the mining sector?
Well, the good thing is, say the country just don't complete airborne geophysical survey. We don't give a better understanding of the geology of this country. That therefore enhance, the mining sector for able getting a lot of companies for coming and operate at lower cost. And also we get a lot of mines then we get for come upstream next year. Early next year, you get the Sarah Diamonds, Natongo. You get Kingo coming on board. Then you get other people that we don't apply right now for some small scale mining license. 3 years ago we had about 4 small scale mining.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All wetin you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. To the bell option, press this one with all. E don done. E no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for we don help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.